What it do with it, world? It's your minds and them foul shopping. Reporting on the Bamboozle Again News Network on my morning bike ride to work. I can see in the background, I hope and believe they cloud. They look very harmonious this morning. I hope me going through here, hopefully the wind don't pick up. There's no wind blowing, but you know, with these new devices, they pick up everything. Segway me, please. And I'm going to cover a few talking points. It's just, to my intellectual brain, I'm starved for just intelligent or just stuff making sense, right? So I'm going to go back over the Big U situation. I caught a video on Doggy Diamond where he's basically, you know, crying out for sympathy, asking people to pray for him. And what did he allow his victims? Man, that man did, you know, allegedly, that man did that stuff, man. You know, he's saying they're assassinating my character. What character? Your other, you know, skin folk, that's not your kinfolk, threw you under the bus for the man. And they probably got dirt on whack. I see it all over the place. You know, wickedness dwells in high places. So I'll be noticing the correlation between what we see on social media, celebrity, whatever, and what I see in my small town. You hang out, especially in these Negro groupies, Hebrew Israelite groups, right? You just see a grouping of Negroes who aren't, you know how Yeshua said, how will they know that you're my disciples? The love you have for one another. The love of many has waxed cold. And dare I say, it's not even love. It's more manipulation, domination, intimidation. Another form of witchcraft in which people are heaping themselves or heaping people to themselves so they can use them. And when you're no longer useful, they discard you. But when the shoe on the other foot, as I talked about on previous videos, how it seemed like the victimizer then somehow elicits or tries to elicit sympathy for, I mean, I ain't talking about a personal issue or a character defect here. I'm talking about heinous, repeated crimes that have affected the lives of others in which they probably need counseling or traumatized to some degree. Then when the blowback comes, you want public sympathy. As if you're wrong. Like, it's crazy. And I see it all over. I know I got a personal situation in which this individual has repeated numerous indiscretions that have kind of, you know, hindered, to the very least me, right? But they're acting like they are saint and that they're the victim. This is crazy. You can't even fool with these folks because they're so delusional at this point. What do you even say to them? You know what I mean? And allegedly, I believe the Big U man has something to do with Nip Don. Or being unalive, rather. Now, it's alleged in this indictment that he had his own artist unalive over Vegas over a diss track. So you're allegedly doing your own artist, but not the man who got more popular than you. Come on, man. But in reality, what I really want to talk about is the inability for Negroes to come together. Because we're still on, it might be over with to some degree, but we're still in captivity. And at no point in the scriptures have I seen a time when God ordained the peoples to be in captivity and they were somehow able to get out of it with their own intellect or planning. You just got to deal with it as, you know, stressful or as vexing as it might be. You just got to deal with it till he lets you out. Even in my own personal situation, or when I first went to my wilderness season, right? I had an epiphany. I said, man, I ain't getting out of this until God let me out. And that's just what it is. I had to practice some level of acceptance, especially considering it was my decision making that led to that. You know what I mean? But Negroes can't come together. And when Negroes come together, this is what happens. This is routinely what happens. I was on social media last night. I got a cousin who likes to get flued out, right? So I asked her, you should be getting dookied on and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? And then she sent me one of these, what they call it, a gift or something. Of, I think it was a black youngster with a whole bunch of money in his mouth. And I said, these are the Negroes, the 2/3. It seemed like it's more than 2/3 though, that we got to deal with. Where nothing, like the Bible said in the end time, where nothing will be considered shameful. So if the Arab man, let's say, give me $100,000, I ain't got no problem with him dookie on me. And I'm proud of it. Did you get the money though? And then what happens when they devalue the currency? Then you're essentially, and more oftentimes than not, if you have a mind state to get dookied on, you know what I mean? You'll probably, go get the luxury bags and, get the bottles at the club, right? It's not like you're going to get dookied on to then go buy some land and prepare for the end. You know what I'm saying? So essentially, after the fruition of time, you got dookied on essentially for nothing. What about the future husband, right? Oh, hold on. I found me some monies. I pull over, get that. That's crazy. Then you marry a woman who has unrepentantly been dookied on. We can't do nothing here, man. Oh, that's my coffee money. Praise God. Yes, sir. Sometimes I just want, forgive me, y'all, I just want to be free of this so bad, yo. These are the niggas you got to deal with. Then the bully coon gatekeeper Negro back at the rehab I graduated from, my other partner I be shamming on sent me a screenshot. You can't make this stuff up. Of him under the Joy Taylor woman, who I don't know if she still worked there, for ESPN saying, I guess it was like a profile picture or some picture she posted, right? In my mind, the bully coon Negro put the orange goddess. I ain't gonna lie. It made my brain ooze out my ear. The bully coon Negro is under the picture of the woman who slept her way to the top. You know what I mean? And putting the orange goddess. But a real, black queen who may have reformed herself or come out of bamboozlement gets no love though. How much? I'm alright with it though, but sometimes I feel the need to cry out. You know what I mean? Like David did, like. And it ain't got nothing to do with me. It don't affect me none. It just highlights how far, as a people, we've fallen mentally. With whatever's going on economically, right? Black people have never, as a grouping of people, have never made the amount of money as a grouping of people that we've made. But somehow with all this money, we're less effective. How? I mean, I do understand how, but. And like Jeremiah, it causes me to internally weep because I know souls on the line. And they punished us mentally into the earth to this degree where we see a known harlot, you know what I'm saying, who slept her way to the top, and then a gatekeeping Negro who helps other Negroes, I guess, get clean, or because of his status, I guess he has some position of power. And that's the way my brain see it. He's calling this harlot, essentially, an orange goddess. So if you see her as a goddess, what is a true lioness? What is she to you? And this is the mentality of Negro. And he like whack 100 too, or yeah, because other homies have told me if he seen him as competition or they had a disagreement or whatever the case may be, he done got him put out. You know what I'm saying? Okay, me and you got a disagreement, or I don't even like you. But I understand this whole addiction thing, so I ain't gonna, get you put out so I feel better or egotistical wise, and then you mess around, relapse, and die. And then in another post talk about black people out coming together when you the one Xing all the black people out. Oh man. It's real in the battlefield, Jack. And then I had another question though, where I know I'm all over the place this morning. On my little draw bread. Now it looked right. This time, this part at least, it looked pretty whatever. But don't get it twisted, it's real in the battlefield. This is the same place where Jay-Z was at doing all his dirt. And Emery and them got locked up. Then he went to New York. And the rest is history. If you go on, I guess, type in D. Haven, he'll talk about his time here. And I think them folk left a spirit here. Because the same stuff I'm talking about going on now. Crabs in these buckets. I guess it's going on everywhere. But unless you're talking foolishness, ain't nobody trying to listen to you. But if you provide tangible solutions that would fix an immediate need they got or whatever the case may be, they might hear you. But they're too addicted to toxicity and tomfoolery and chicanery. It's heartbreaking. You know what I'm saying? I was talking to somebody last night. All you can do is pray for them. I guess the same way, I was so bad at one point. My people just gave me over to the Lord. You know what I mean? But I had a question though, right? Just thinking back on it, right? How does WAC 100, supposedly a blood member, right? Paru or whatever that is, how does he know all the business of the opposing rival gang? How he know all this? Are the gang members selling their secrets over to him? Like, everything for sale. When in the word where it referred to Babylon, the whore, a whore is essentially someone who's for sale or will sell themselves for financial gain. That spirit has now enveloped during their every aspect and avenue of society. During ethics, during morals. That's only a talking point. You know what I mean? Everybody for sale. And then when you're not for sale, they get mad with you. Even though you not being for sale don't affect them none. This is wild, Jack. And this is probably just the tip of the iceberg. But yeah, I just covered this again as yet another example of why you should be very, at the very least, leery of groupings of Negroes, no matter whether it be secularly, vocationally, spiritually, religiously. I guess we just gotta test the spirit and judge people by their fruit. Because what I'm saying, even if the fruit was right, let's say 3 seasons ago, I see a lot of people fruit going bad, rotten, or maybe they don't even produce no more fruit. They just remind you of the fruit they produced 10 years ago. But we in this society, what have you done for me lately? Like, and that's another thing I noticed, right? Especially among spiritual leaders. Now ain't nobody perfect by a long shot. But whatever happened to humility, meekness? I don't know. This is just a quick segment on here. Oh, that's what I wanted to say. How does WAC 100 get all these people's secrets here? Who's funneling him this information? And why is he not in jail? And then later on down the line, when somebody else up and coming, like the Marlowe on the Wire principle. Yeah, they had done good business with Proposition Jew. But when the young stunner, make his plea or whatever. All right, we'll sanction you getting rid of the other dude who's been very valuable to us because we think you'll push the next agenda. It's like that in politics. The only place to run is to the Most High and to that word, man. Everything else is sinking sand. And on that note, I'm going to holler at y'all. One love, baby.